Welcome to Radio Melee. We're back with another exciting edition with another champion, another legend of the game. And, somebody who I was just telling Wizzy this. I used to watch a show called Esportsmanlike Conduct, which was Atriox's old esports podcast with Stans. And I always thought the best episode they ever did was when they brought Wizzy on as a guest. So we had to snag him this week, especially hot off a big win at Mainstage. Wizzy, good to have you.
It's cool to be here. I'm excited to talk about some stuff.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
How's your weekend? You watch Mainstage?
I did. I watched Mainstage up until the point where I had to collapse on Sunday, but
I did go
as long as we could.
Everyone collapsed, I feel like, who was trying to watch.
Yeah, but I got there as long as I could, watch as much as I could. Fun tourney.
Yeah.
Definitely fun tourney. Your boy popped off a little bit, your student. Is it safe to call him that? Kadoran?
Yeah, I think he would be okay with that.
Okay. I feel like that's an honor, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, this was the second time since, I guess, Riptide that we've had kind of a large scale offline major, and a bunch of people qualified for Summit, including Wizzy, which is awesome.
Love that.
And, I guess campaigning opens up today. I think I saw the tweet on BTS Smash. I think people are going to start opting in. So, Wizzy, I'm sure you're glad you don't have to do that.
I'm glad I don't have to do it. I'm so glad.
Is there someone that you want to endorse for Smash Summit?
Oh, boy.
I have no idea who's running. I'll choose right now.
That's a good question. Let me pull it up.
Sure.
Let me pull him up.
All right. While you do that and you have the full list, Toph, let me ask Wizzy something a little different. What was your preparation for the tourney? Because you've had some really good runs. You've had some big wins now. Had a few of them. Was there anything different you did to prepare for this? Was it a standard routine? How'd you feel going into this?
It's funny because, this was one of those tournaments where I feel like I didn't get enough practice. I didn't get enough preparation, but somehow I ended up working out. And I feel like another big tournament I won, I also had the same feeling where I feel like I didn't prep enough. And somehow, I don't know, maybe the fact that I didn't play enough almost reset me, or maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know. I mean, the times I did prepare with the time I did have, I did prepare, but I didn't prepare as much as I wanted, basically.
Was there something that was preventing that?
I'm trying to remember. I was getting my controller fixed, and then so I kind of put off practicing a little bit because I'm I don't really want to use a secondary controller because I don't want to get used to it. I ended up playing with it a little bit regardless, but it was mainly the controller, and I guess I just took a little bit too long. The days came by quicker than I expected, and then that was the main thing I remember, was the controller thing.
Okay, cool. All right, Toph,
yeah.
you got that list there. Let's see I want the heat. I want to see who Wizzy's endorsing right now.
Okay.
Some of the people who are already opting in. Remember, this is early, so maybe more people will even continue to opt in. But Ben, no fluxes, of course, the meme legend. Android Zero is opting in. He's been kind of a hot topic lately. Big up and coming Falcon. Tyler Swift didn't get his shot last time, getting a shot this time. Free Palestine is opting in this time around. Kubi, the Sheik from Canada. Secrets, I think, is the Fox that beat Axe at Riptide. So that's pretty big. And a couple other. Let's see who else we have that's pretty exciting. We got Skullbro, who's I think probably the best doc these days. He's a Dr. Mario from Europe who I think has been placing top 8 and stuff over there. And we got JCam, who won the Central America region. He's from Panama, and he's incredibly good apparently. And Slug, the Ice Climbers player. So bunch of interesting players. Chape as well from
Chile.
Chile, that's right. Oh, and Riken from Chile. So there you go.
Okay.
Some Chilean representation.
Okay.
Right now, it looks like I see Ben at the top. I think Ben is probably the best player that has.
Is it is it already started?
I think
Opt-in
has started. I don't think anyone's
really?
voting
I had no
yet.
idea. I know. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, definitely Android Zero. I would vote for him.
Is it
That's
just
a
is it
solid
because
pick.
of Falcon? Do you love the guy?
I'm friends with him.
Okay.
Everything. I'm friends with him, and he started off as a fan, and he's getting good now. I don't know. It's kind of like I was a huge fan of basically all the top players, and now I became good. So it's kind of like the same thing. And so he plays Falcon. He plays similar to me. None thinks he might be the fastest Falcon. So there's that. That's cool. He's really fast. He has fast movement.
This is an endorsement.
Yeah,
Good endorsement.
He'll definitely take it far. He's definitely someone who would not take this opportunity for granted. I know that.
And how much should someone, if they're listening to, spend on Android Zero at minimum?
Yeah.
I don't know how to put a number on it.
Okay, yeah, that's tough.
Just do what you can to help him. That's what
Do what you can. Always depends
Yeah.
on your bankroll, you know?
Yeah, I mean-
if you're loaded, you can put a lot of money down. If you
Yeah.
don't have much to your name, then it is what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Android Zero, last week actually in Verdugo, there's a really stacked Verdugo West that None, this is the SoCal local. He actually outplaced both S2J and None, which is
really?
I would say rare. Yeah,
Wait,
I would
this
say
is before Mainstage.
before Mainstage. It was the
I didn't even
SoCal
know that.
local before
Yeah,
Mainstage.
Yeah, I think after me, S2J, None, and Gatsu, it's him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Sechi, but he's not very active, so I don't want to it's not that Sechi's not like number 5 or anything. It's just that he's not playing, so I'm just gonna count him as inactive. But in terms of like active, I think Smuckers isn't that active. I could be wrong. Do you know about that, Toph?
I think
I
I've
don't
been
know.
seeing him in the nightclubs lately.
Okay, maybe he's
I
like
think
a little active. I don't know, but in terms of Android Zero is definitely like the 5th best Falcon right now in terms of like very active players.
Yeah, and he's starting to place consistently. Got 17th at Riptide. I know he beat like one or two I don't remember who he beat, but I remember hearing it and I was like, oh, those are good wins.
Yeah.
So he's definitely starting to put his name out there at like the national level. And this would definitely be a huge opportunity for him. I don't think he's definitely never been to a summit, right? So I think it'd be cool.
I don't think so. I don't think he's even been as a VIP, and I think he's SoCal.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go.
All right.
It's a good pick.
It is a good pick. Everyone, you heard it here. Wizzy endorsing officially, and he cannot back away from it no matter what happens. Android Zero. So there it is. But in the meantime, we need to see who I think the people endorsed for Elijah Wood, who he would main in Melee. Community voice. Look at the segue.
That's right.
So we had Polish on last week. He wanted to know, he had 2-part question. I forgot the serious part, admittedly, but he did want to know who Elijah Wood would main in Melee. And so we're going to get that up on the screen. And while we're reading through this, guys, be sure to also keep in mind that you can use !Radio Melee in my chat or Toph's to come into the Discord, ask your question, and get your question on stream. But yeah, Toph, if you want to take away 1 or 2 of the questions, I can read them if you want. Up to you, man.
Yeah, and I'm looking at these responses. I'm starting to remember, I think, the other aspect of, because I think he had a 2-parter.
Yeah.
I think the other thing he was asking was like, remember that one week I asked, kind of what is your relationship with Nick All-Stars? I was asking people, are you playing? Are you watching? Are you interested? Are you not that interested?
Yeah.
And I remember Polish kind of gave like actually the Melee version of that. He was basically asking, to all the fans out there, to all the viewers, are you a serious competitor? Do you go to your locals? Do you just kind of play unranked? Do you like not really play at all and you just kind of watch? And so we got a couple cool answers here. CV, I'm strictly a spectator when it comes to Melee. To me, it's just like watching the NFL or the NBA. I talk about it. I watch enough for my wife to know top players. And I've always been a casual player, whatever the newest Smash game is. And I literally can't imagine Elijah playing anyone other than Luigi. Luigi is a really good pick for him. Yeah. Yeah.
There were 2 answers here that actually have Luigi, and then the third one is green Pikachu. So we're locking in Elijah Wood as a green color player anyway.
Mm-hmm. He is, yeah. I'm looking at this second answer. My eyes just happened to catch it. The second answer, I can read this one. I'll just read it. You can read the third one. I've been an avid spectator for the past 6 years. I love to occasionally hop on netplay to get bodied by a random Mario player when I have the time in my work schedule. I'm sure he's talking about None. If I could participate more in my local scene, I definitely would. Elijah Wood would, without a doubt, be a down smashing green Pikachu main. Something about the green, I think there's like a, I was going to use the word synesthesia. I don't think that applies here, but something about Elijah Wood, Hobbit, right?
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, The Shire, green, probably not very technical, right? It's not Legolas, right?
Okay.
He's he's not even really a combatant for most of the movies, right?
Yeah.
So I can see these kind of more whimsical picks like Luigi or Pikachu being very apt for someone like Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Luigi does use your own weight against you when he nares out of your hit stun. That makes sense.
Wait. Was that a reference to Lord of the Rings? What do you mean?
No, it was more like you said he's more whimsical, and I was thinking more of like a jujitsu style guy where he's not trying to actually fight, he's just trying to like, get out of the way or whatever.
Yeah, you don't mean jujitsu, you mean Aikido.
Yeah, sure.
Aikido.
That is what I mean. That's right. That's a better word for what I was going for. I'll take the next one so I can stop sounding foolish.
You're not foolish.
Oh, thank you.
But if you're ever wondering, I think jujitsu's it's all about throws.
Yeah,
Jujitsu's a very throw heavy one.
Right.
But anyway,
it's a good point. Good clarification.
I don't even do any martial arts. I'm the spectator of martial arts. Some people call me the Justin Barton or the Adam Frankius of martial arts.
I don't understand that reference, but I salute you.
These are the YouTube the commenters.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at the living monkey. I was zeroed in because I had to read that. I was locked in. That's on me.
All right.
But living monkey, I'll just go for it now. He said he's a very active participant. He unfortunately thinks a lot of Melee viewership just spectates, which I mean the two previous answers were about that. He says it's fine, but I fear a lot of people are missing out on some great experiences in Melee. There's a local scene nearly everywhere, and especially with Slippy, it is so easy to get engaged nowadays. Luigi, obviously. Yep. Green Man be chopping in there, and makes sense. But yeah, I do think there's a huge portion of the Melee player base that spectates. I think there's some people that have a problem with that. I'm not one of them. I think it's okay, but it is kind of always interesting to see how different it is because I think a lot of people on the show now will see it from a different lens. Wizzy, do you have any thoughts on the makeup of the community viewership players versus spectators and Elijah Wood main?
Elijah Wood main, I don't know what to say.
Tough.
But you said Melee community spectators versus players, like
yeah.
Like the relationship between them or like the differences, like
well, what percent of the community do you think is spectators versus players? And obviously no one has all the data in front of them. This is kind of just what you feel it is.
Well, I definitely think Ultimate has way more like casual viewers than Melee. Like, because like at this point, Melee's like 20 years old. I feel like there's probably a good amount of spectators who do play the game. Maybe not like at a not like super hardcore going to every tournament, but they know some tech skill. They know about wave dashing. They might have some basic competitive scene knowledge. Not everyone, but there's probably I would say it's like probably. I'd imagine there's a good amount of spectators who understand the competitive scene of Melee more than like Ultimate, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
What it sounds like to me is people being annoyed of like spectators who don't know what they're talking about in chat. Is just like the vibe I get. Like if they're having an issue with spectators and they don't go to tournaments, it's like people being annoyed that the spectators don't understand the player's point of view because they don't go to tournaments.
Wizzy, how often does it happen to you that someone tells you that comes into your Twitch chat or you see it somewhere else on Twitter or whatever that they tell you how to play the game, and it's
really rare.
Oh, it is
really
rare. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really rare. I think. Yeah, I don't. Honestly, most of the time I do get advice. It's from somebody who they'll like they might have like a good understanding of a certain area of the game, so they'll assume that what they're suggesting actually might have some validity. So I guess I've been lucky.
I'd say
in that
so.
regard. The
yeah.
PP, is your experience any different?
I mean, it'll depend. I mean, if it's one of those things where it also kind of depends on what you're giving out, right? Like if you're more saying I'm not sure about something, then people will very often want to step up and say something.
Yeah.
But even if you're like, well, there's this thing and you know what to do about it. It's just kind of complicated or frustrating or whatever. People might, even if you talk about it like that, where it's like you pretty much know what to do, it's just kind of weird or difficult. People might still bring up a lot of stuff about it, like, oh, it's not as bad as you think, or
Yeah.
whatever. So it really kind of depends, I think, in part in what you put out there, but it goes in waves. If I have a larger chat on a given day, I notice it happens a little more, and that kind of stuff all just kind of matters.
I do ultimately think, spectators are the lifeblood the lifeblood of the scene in a way. Cause like, I remember when there really weren't spectators. Like when I started playing Melee in 2000, I guess it was 8. And I started really going to tournaments in 2009. Like pretty much everyone who knew anything about Melee, like tournament scene, all of them played. Like everybody played. Like if you there wasn't such a thing as a spectator.
It was rare anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rare, and there wasn't really like that widespread kind of like at least appreciation for watching Melee. And like I actually think something that's kind of cool now is a lot of my friends that I met, like for example, when I was working at Twitch, or friends that I meet from other esports scenes, like they know a lot of things about Melee now. Like there's a lot of like actual kind of like esports people, like League of Legends community members, or like Dota community members, stuff like that. You look at Beyond the Summit, right? There's a lot of like the Beyond the Summit guys are mostly coming from a Dota background, at least the OG Beyond the Summit guys. But I think it's really cool when like other gaming scenes, like even though they're playing their other game or they're commentating their other game or they're running events for their other game or what have you, it's cool when they show an appreciation for competitive Melee. Like I remember a lot of people after like Summit 11, were coming out of the woodwork. A lot of people like League of Legends casters were like, wow, that was so hype. It's cool to see Mango Zane, such a close set, and cool to see Mango clutch it out. I think that's really neat because that definitely didn't used to be the case 10 years ago,
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know we are hard cutting a lot of these transitions, but we want to be respectful of Wizzy's time here. So I'm okay if you guys are bringing in our first caller.
Let's bring in our first caller. Hell yeah.
All right, we got FateofReality. What's up? And where are you calling in from?
Hello. I'm calling in from Austin, Texas.
Oh, good city.
Mm-hmm. Good Melee scene here.
Yeah, it's true.
Who's the best player in Austin?
Oh,
Sorry, I know it's your question, not mine.
Yeah, right now I would say probably it's Palpa, since he was able to beat Lucky.
Yeah, Palpa's hella good.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Beat
Yeah,
Lucky,
what's your
beat
question?
Albert, and whatnot. Question. So with Cody, and I remember some other people saying on Twitter how difficult it was for them to get through their schedule during Mainstage. How do you think, like, what would you think could be done to help make scheduling better at major events so that the stress is relieved from some of these players?
I can start. I can take this one because there's one thing that immediately jumps to mind for me. And I noticed this as soon as I got my commentary schedule. I looked at the commentary schedule. I couldn't help but notice, and this is no shade at anybody who works at Beyond the Summit, because I think they're so good. They're just such a great tournament production organization. And they really have so many talented individuals, and they knocked it out of the park with Mainstage. But when I looked at my schedule, I couldn't help but notice that they allocated 3 hours for Ult Top 8 and 3 hours for Melee Top 8. And I looked at that, and I thought this was as early as Friday. I looked at that and I said, I don't know.
Sounds like a great mistake.
That doesn't look like I've been in Melee tournaments for a long time. I've never taken part in a 3-hour top 8. It doesn't happen. And it used to be even worse, mind you. People used to allocate their schedule, and they would have a spreadsheet, and they would do 2 hours for top 8. And you'd look at that and you'd be like, what world are top 8s ever 2 hours? That doesn't make sense. I would say that on average, a top 8 is about 3 hours, 45 minutes. Can run a little quicker, can run a little longer. I mean, Melee ran pretty long at main stage, but we didn't even have Wizzy 3-0 at HBox and Grants. We didn't have a bracket reset. It could have got longer.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm
sure. I think you guys should. Yeah, spoilers. Sorry.
Yeah, they didn't watch, and they're just Wizzy's just randomly here.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Surprise.
He probably got like fit that main stage, but he's here now.
He's here now. But yeah, I think the first thing is let's just all as a community, as TOs, as people who make schedules, let's be honest with ourselves. Top 8s do not take 3 hours. They take like closer to 4 hours. That's just how it is. At least for Smash. That's my piece. That's my thing.
Good start.
That's my
Wizzy, you experienced it from the player side.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you felt stood out to you?
Yeah, the schedule is really difficult for main stage in particular. I mean, most other tournaments, it's not as difficult to deal with as it was at main stage. But I know for like main stage, like Friday, I felt like me and Gatsu, we got fourth in doubles, but we could have done better for sure. But by that time in the night, my brain was shutting down, which one, because of scheduling, ran late, but two, also because I'm coming from East Coast and I flew in the day
Yeah.
before, so like I just got destroyed. Because when you come from East to
Oof.
West, the problem's not waking up early. Waking up early is easier, but staying up late is harder.
Mhm.
And so,
Mhm.
like by the time I got to like my I don't know why my Steam's on. By the time I got to losers, whatever it was where me and Gatsu lost, my brain was literally shut down. Like I could not do anything. And it's like
Ooh.
I don't really want to drink caffeine. Like I'm gonna go to bed soon. Like that's not gonna be fun. So
Yeah.
that was Friday, and then Saturday was also rough, a little bit better. Each day staying up late got like the slightest bit easier, but still really hard. I was really glad it's gonna sound I was really glad I beat Lucky because I wanted to get out of there and go to bed. And I was like, I'm on East Coast time, I need to get out of here. Because I think our set finished around like 10 p.m. or something like that. And then I was surprised I handled it as well as I did on Sunday night. I didn't realize like the Hungry Box Grand Finals was that late, and I don't know. Maybe the adjustment was starting to catch up a little bit, but
So
it was just so hard that I just kind of thought of it as like I'll just do what I can. But yeah, this sucks.
yeah, so the question is, how can scheduling be better? But it seemed like your issue was just how late things were. So would you just want how early would you want things to end then to be easier for you?
I like things to end around like 8 or 9 at the latest, like
Okay.
8 or 9.
Is that East Coast time or West Coast time or
Well,
whenever?
I was kind of saying just in general. I mean, maybe for like a Sunday top 8, it can end a little bit later because like the very final stretch of the tournament. But I just don't like. I basically the scheduling got amplified. Like the bad scheduling got amplified because I came from East Coast.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I um I talked to Kadoran, who talked to to Blur, and I found out a little bit more about why there were actually some issues, and so I can share that. And I think one of them was they didn't have a lot of volunteers. I'm not
Okay.
sure how that impacted some things outside of pools, but but I mean, I could see even top 64 how that could make things slow down. So I
Yeah.
understand that. And then I think the other thing was the Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. I think there was a lot of schedule finagling to try and include that and make that all work out, and
Yeah.
that seemed like that caused some issues too. And then I
Yeah.
think I heard 55% of all of them DQ'd. So
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
I don't know. That might not be a true statistic. But that's what I heard.
Okay.
So if it is true, then that means that that may have caused some other issues. But if it's not, even if most people did enter, then there would still be difficulty in running all of that because there's like a third main event when most events usually focus on two. So I could see how that could be a challenge.
Yeah. Oh,
So I'm not sure what else. I guess this is a moment to say please volunteer at tournaments. It does seem like it makes a big difference. Um, you know, I think a lot of the top players would prefer things not ending so late, East or West Coast.
yeah.
So I think those are probably some of the
Yeah.
biggest things. I know TOs have their own things they'd like to say about this, their own
Yeah.
player frustrations. So
Yeah, I'm
I don't
sure.
think this dialogue is over, but certainly I did feel for the players. I've been in situations like that before, and
Yeah.
hope that can go a little better.
Yeah. It's always challenging. I mean, I remember that was one of the big things when I was trying to compete at a lot of East Coast tournaments was like always the time zone, the time difference was
Mhm.
challenging. I've been there. I remember a tournament. I actually flew. Never doing this again. I flew to Canada on a red eye, and I remember trying to get through. It was a 2-day tournament. I remember my last match on Saturday, and I was crashing so hard, and I was playing against Coffee Black, who at the time was maybe 5th or 6th in Toronto, and I remember thinking to myself, I just need to get through this. I was playing pretty bad, but I was like, if I get through this, I can go to bed. Tomorrow's gonna be great. And I barely clutched it, and I was like so thankful. I was like, oh, I got to go to bed. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. But yeah, it's always challenging, and I know that for TOs there's a little bit of a trade-off sometimes when they're trying to make a schedule that doesn't have top players who have to play in the morning and then play at night versus like I feel like sometimes there's talk of like scheduling that's better for the average player versus scheduling that's better for top players. But I don't know. I wish if I knew more about it I would say more. But I've been to events that I felt like were run really really smoothly and no one had any complaints about. So maybe we can look to those for inspiration and see what they're doing with their schedules because it's not like every major has scheduling issues.
We can get Juggle Guy on.
Yeah, big houses have been historically, I would say, pretty all right, at least from my memory.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he thinks about it. But
anyway,
yeah. So I think there are things that can be improved. I'm sure there's more discussion to be had, but I feel for the players. I think that's about all we got. Fate of Reality. Thank you for calling in. And do you have any shout outs for us today?
Yeah, shout outs to Austin Melee, of course, again. Palpa may possibly opt in for summit voting. Not sure 100%, but could. Shout outs to Mech, great Captain Falcon / Ganon main, who's unfortunately going to be leaving us, going back to his hometown, Chicago. We will miss him very, very dearly, though. And shout out to Albert as well. Would be great to see him at locals again. He hasn't been around for quite a while, but would be great to see him.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Love these Falcon shout outs we're getting. Love that.
Yeah, definitely. I had no idea where Mech was from. Wizzy, it's funny you were saying I wonder, like, because on Sunday, at the end of top 8, like, of course you're a little bit more used to the time difference because it's Sunday, but I wonder how much of it is also just like that, that like I guess maybe adrenaline or something. Maybe not necessarily. I was
thinking that too because like grand finals, this is it. Like adrenaline, like it was kind of like definitely help me get through it. I think
makes sense. Well, about time to bring on our next caller, LoBana. Where are you calling in from? Hello.
Hello. I'm calling from France.
Ooh. That's your that's your people, right, PP?
Yeah. Bonjour and bonsoir, French goober. What's up?
Bonsoir. Thanks a lot. It was really awesome to see you, PP, watch the Bruno documentary. Thanks a lot for giving us the props.
It was cool. I mean, it was really well done. I got to pretend to be French for a little bit. It was a good time. Everyone won.
Yeah, perfect. So, just going into my question, this was pretty much a Wizzy-centric question because it stems from the fact that I've been an Envy fan from the last decade, more or less, since they were on COD in like 2013, and I followed them in everything after that. So I was pretty ecstatic when they got Wizzy because I was a big Smash fan as well. So I was wondering, what have Envy done to help you maybe prepare for tournaments, or what are you doing with them as much as content goes? Because we don't see you a lot on their social media, but I know you shouted them out a lot after winning this weekend, and I was wondering with the whole merger going out with Optic Gaming, how it was affecting you or affecting your schedule or thing like that.
Yeah, so they mainly help me just by like being extremely supportive. Like I talk to like basically my manager Ian all the time, and he's always like super responsive and helping me deal with issues. Like sometimes like my headset almost stopped working, so they were gonna like ship me like a new one like while I was at the tournament, but I figured it out. Yeah, so like they're very supportive, they're very responsive. They're it's just a great relationship all around. They're very helpful. And then in terms of content, I don't like we definitely have stuff planned. I think there'll definitely be like a lot more stuff like after Summit and Smash World Tour.
Are you using that time to focus on the tournaments, and is that why it'll be after?
Yeah, I'm gonna be focusing more on like Summit and Smash World Tour basically, and then I think afterwards we're gonna do like a bunch of content and
Cool.
a bunch of cool stuff. Yeah. What else did you want to know?
Not really much. It was a bit interesting. I don't know if Toph and PP want to join in. I don't know if, compared to what you guys are experiencing with Golden Guardians, for example, is it like much different? Because I know you two are maybe more focused more on content, for example. So I don't know if Zane or is it different than what you heard about other orgs getting into Melee?
I think for me, you know, it's funny for me. It was my first contract, but I do think it's cool when like when you're like I feel like with Golden Guardians, the team is pretty hands on. Like all of the people we work with when we plan content. I talk to our head of esports pretty regularly, and I don't know. I try to take an interest in like the League of Legends side of things and stuff like that. And I think that's cool to hear that Wizzy's in really close. I think that's really important when you're in close contact with your your manager and you feel like they're actively giving you support. Because I definitely don't think that's every esports team. I think with some esports teams, they're really
Very
hands off.
very much depends on the team, I feel like.
Yeah, Golden Guardians, I mean, I don't have experience with them as a player, only as a content guy, but this is something that I wanted to ask Golden Guardians about later when I was going to events. I think it'd be good to either, because this is something I really liked with EG, was having a manager that would go on site to events with me. I like having someone there that could just help with things, respond to issues.
Really cool.
Yeah, I think it's super cool just to have someone there that's being supportive. So this was something I was going to ask about, and I imagine GG would have some solution to that because they do listen to a lot of these types of concerns. And I think for Zane, I believe I don't know if this is still true or not, but I think they were helping Junebug work with Zane in some way. I don't know the details of that, but I do think there was some help with that. And I know some other orgs do help with coaching as well, so it's not too out of the line to see that.
I hope it's just literally Zeke. I hope Zeke. This is an inside joke. By the way, speaking of player managers, Wizzy, I don't think I ever told you this. I thought for some time at Riptide, I thought Gatsu was your manager for a little while.
That's funny.
Because so you know how Gatsu used to have like he had like a beard and his hair was like a little longer. And at Riptide, he had like that really professional looking haircut, right?
Yeah.
He shaved his whole beard.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a mask. Of course, we're all wearing masks. Yeah. And I didn't recognize him at all until I looked like directly at him. But I saw you guys walking around for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Wizzy's got his player manager. And then I walked up to you guys at some point and I like looked at him and I was like, is that Gatsu?
Oh, I see. Dude, a lot of people actually told him that this past weekend. I like 3 different people are like, "Oh, I didn't recognize you."
Dude, that haircut. I got to see his hair guy cuz that's a whole makeover.
Yeah, he looks so different.
He looked so buttoned up. I thought he was just some professional dude, you know?
Would you want Gatsu as a manager?
Me?
Yeah.
You think he'd do a good job?
It would be funny.
It would, yeah.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, my manager now is really good. But yeah, I don't know.
He could be assistant manager.
Assistant manager.
Sure. Assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Oh man. Well,
thanks for the question, LoBana. It's cool to hear. I think every esports team is different.
And by the way, the Optic merger is super cool. I'm excited for what's gonna come.
Oh yeah, you're finally Optic Wizzy. It happened.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's tight.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you with the new shirt and everything. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Well, thanks a lot, guys, for having me, and thanks a lot for answering. Thank you, Wizzy, for winning it for us this weekend. Was really happy to stay awake until 7 a.m. here in France to see you win it. So congrats it in
That's
the
an
end.
accomplishment.
Wow. Thank you, LoBana. You got any shout outs?
Yeah, two quick ones. Thanks again, Wizzy, for winning it this weekend and making me staying up not worthless in the end. But mainly shout out to the scene here in France. Shout out to anyone working either in Melee or Ultimate. I know we beef from time to time, but it's really takes everyone to make a scene go around, especially when you're not on the strongest region for your game. So you know it is, man. Thanks a lot for having me tonight. Have a nice time, guys. Bye.
Thank you, you too.
Too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
I know my camera went black and white for a second. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
You clutched
It
you clutched it.
happens. Yeah,
We're
I fixed
good.
it. I fixed it. I fixed it.
Dude, Toph, I feel like I don't know if anyone's told you this, but when I watch your stream, you look like you're sitting in like the same room as Leffen.
Yeah, it's a similar layout, right?
It's
a
like the
similar layout.
window and like even some of the stuff in the back almost. Like I don't know, it's just like, dude, he lives in Leffen's house or something.
They are the same.
People have said that they've never seen me and Leffen in the same room at the same time.
Okay.
Well,
But yeah,
congrats on the Fox, Toph. I'm happy for you, man.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I actually have heard that. I think part of it was not intentional.
Camera angle, I think. Like I don't
The
know.
camera angle, yeah. I mean, we're definitely sitting at the end. I'm definitely sitting at the end of a room, right? Like the
Yeah.
same way Leffen is. So
Yeah.
similar layout for sure. I think it's just a good layout. Like if you have a room that's shaped this way, I think it just makes sense to put your. I don't know. That's
Yeah, it
Leffen's
probably
so-
does. Probably
Yeah.
does.
window. Well, I think we got our next caller is actually ready for us here. What's up? Oh, it's YokaiNels, longtime fan
It
of
is.
the stream. What's up, YokaiNels? Welcome. And where are you calling in from today?
Hey, what's up, guys? Calling in from New Jersey.
Love New
Shout
Jersey.
outs.
You're actually
Yeah.
always calling in from New Jersey. It's gonna be
Yeah.
exciting when you call in from a different location.
Well,
Yeah,
his
one
picture
day
makes
I'll
it look like he's
definitely-
underwater.
Yeah. One day I'll definitely call from like, another part of the country or like the moon or something. It'll be really cool.
We'll
right.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So first things first, of course, Wizzy, congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate that.
This is actually the second time I've been at a major that you won.
Oh
'Cause I was
really?
also- I was
Oh.
also at a Smash and Splash 5.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was dope.
Good luck charm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
For
come to
sure.
the next come to the
I'll come to as much as I can. I won't
Okay,
be at
thank
Summit,
you.
but good luck on that too.
Dang it. All right.
All right, so my question is kind of a two-parter. So the first one is, so like the traditional Falcon plays in a certain way. We all know the way he plays. He's always been very explosive, very much like aggressive, jump in, do some crazy stuff. But you took a more structured pace with Falcon, and you break it down a lot more, and you more have a lot. I feel like you have a lot more of a flow chart in
Yeah.
terms of like when you approach every single matchup. Like,
Yeah.
why did you decide to take Falcon in that direction? And as a second part, what do you look at for other Falcons that seem to be a lot more explosive? Like, what do you take from them? Like, do you think that
Yeah.
you can take some stuff from them
Yeah.
of being more explosive in some parts, or
Yeah, good question. So I think when it comes to like why I did it, is basically just like I just want to win with Falcon, and I don't need to put like a artificial constraint on me, as in like, oh, I need to play a certain way. So in my mind, it's just like, okay, whatever the best option is, I'll do that. So kind of just, I'm just like, trying to find a way to win with Falcon, and I want to choose the correct option, and I want to do what's optimal, even if it's not as cool or maybe it's harder to execute. So that's basically why I do that. I'm trying to play an optimal Falcon. Also, it'd be cool to like, just play the perfect Falcon and choose, the best options. And then in terms of like what you can take from aggressive Falcons, I definitely think, if you're too deep in one direction or the other, it could be bad. So it's definitely good to have like a balance of some sort. Like actually, a lot of my improvement recently has been taking stuff from none. Because I feel like a lot of stuff, he actually does so many innovative things with Falcon, I feel like. And so taking some of his stuff and it being kind of different from what my stuff is, as they would say. It's like a good balance, and so there's definitely stuff to take from both sides.
Do you? I want to call back to something you said early on when you said you didn't want to play with any artifice. You didn't want to do something just because it was cool. Do you think that there is any of that in S2J, None, Gatsu, and any other Falcons, or do you think that's just why you won't go in a direction that maybe they've gone a little more in?
I mean, I think there's obviously like back in the day, it was always like there. I felt like there used to be more people who like hated like people playing lame, if that makes sense. You know,
Mhm.
like there's always been like, oh, you play lame, you play cool, and so I feel like that's been negated more. Like people don't like people are more like accepting, I guess, of different play styles, and also I feel like more people want to win. So like as people want to win more, they're willing to do things that they normally wouldn't want to do, as in like camp and stuff. I mean, I've heard.
I
I
think
don't.
you've changed the perspective on that by doing as well as you did. I know when you were
Yeah.
coming up, a lot of people were very upset about it, but you
Yeah.
just kept getting results, and then
Yeah.
people just had to chill out on it. So I think you
It's
did a good job in changing it.
Yeah. Thanks. I guess it's just like people might not like you playing a certain play style or whatever, but if you literally win, then like people respect winning more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people respect you playing cool, and then but what they respect even more is if you win. Generally, that's how I
Yeah.
see it. So, if I won the tournament, so regardless of how I play, oh, I got first. So that's crazy. I hope I
I feel
explained
like
that right.
I feel like cool is such a nebulous concept anyway.
Or,
That like
yeah.
honestly, I try to think about like, oh, what does it mean to be cool in Melee? I have no
Yeah.
idea. I don't know. All I know is that
Yeah,
I
it is kind of like subjective what it is in a way.
yeah, because different people find different things to be cool.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. That's very
it's really
true.
weird. I've always just seen your gameplay and been like, wow, that all of that is like super hard to do, and he's super disciplined, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. So I
It's
don't.
definitely
I don't
very. It's definitely very subjective. I feel like because I feel like some people like they're literally not camping at all, but because you're beating them, they might just call you playing lame just because they're mad or something.
Yeah, that's common.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And then
yeah.
there's other people. There's other people like, maybe you are, um, like actually like camping for like 8 minutes or something. I don't know. So it's at the end of the day, it does seem pretty subjective.
Well, let me ask you this, Wizzy. Do you think you play cool?
I think it's cool to me
Cool.
because
all that matters.
That's
I,
important.
I hack stash more than the other Falcons. I think that's cool.
like
That is
that.
hard. Yeah.
I think it's a cool like stall. Like
Yeah, it
you
is.
wave dash back, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of
And
cool.
it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool like executing a reaction attack chase and not messing it up.
I also think that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool. So that's what like again, I think it's like subjective.
This was like a comparison I made on, it might have even been this weekend. I was like commentating and I was explaining that like, I think that there's a big difference sometimes between easy and simple. And I think it's interesting because in some ways I feel like you play in a more simple way than some of the other Falcons, like None, but it's also way harder. Like to actually do your game plan, to actually like, you could try like to reaction tech chase. Like anyone's free to try that. But if they haven't practiced it for a really, really long amount of time, they're gonna fail.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool to see the difference between easy and simple, because something can be simple but not easy at all. It can be really hard.
Yeah, I think that's you got it right.
And I think you're right too, PP, with your whole thing about how subjective cool is. Because look at one of our, I would say one of the pinnacles of one of the most beloved members of our community, Amsa. Sometimes Amsa will literally just stall the ledge with eggs,
Yes,
for like as a way to either get his opponent off of him. And in spite of that, I think people people will cheer for him when he does it, right? And not saying that I hope no one like hears this and thinks, "Oh, I
Clip
see.
that. Clip
I should
that.
be
Send it to
hating.
him.
I should be hating on Amsa. I should be being toxic to Amsa." But
I'm
But you see what-
logging onto Twitter right now as you speak.
right. But this is definitely a thing, right? Like people I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, my whole like take on it is I feel like people just complain about what they lose to.
Yeah.
And I think spectators, they just hear a top player say something, like some top player or streamer loses to something and calls it lame, and then people will parrot that. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think cool is very subjective in the first place, but I mean, I know that I have my own opinions, and I think Wizzrobe plays. I like how all the top Falcons play. I think every top Falcon plays pretty badass.
It's cool to see the different styles and yeah.
Right. That's actually the other thing, is that I think it's really cool that it's proof that in Melee, like I definitely think there's some fighting games where like there's kind of only one way to play certain characters. And you could watch multiple top players play the same character, and they kind of have to go for the same options.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But that is something that's really cool about Melee, is you can take a character like Falcon and like see success all the way to like a top 10 or even higher level by playing super duper different.
Yeah, it is really cool, honestly. It's kind of crazy.
To me, the coolest things is like, I feel like when I see somebody putting in see something that's really, you put in a lot of effort, and whether it be like hard execution or even just like having the perseverance to stay super defensive or camp or whatever, like to me, hard work in general is just cool.
I agree. I agree. I don't know if everyone sees it that way, but that's why I said it's subjective. So
yeah, that's why like Mart spamming F smash is not cool, but like some Amsa egg stalling, even though like part of it is vulnerable and still getting away with it, is kind of cool.
Yeah.
To kind of make an earlier part of the question real for people, I think something interesting, Wizzy, if you want to share, is you said you were taking some things from None earlier. You can, I mean, maybe just one as an example, but maybe the most recent thing, or maybe something against Puff. You played Hungrybox in the finals.
Yeah.
What was something that you felt was really valuable to you that you took from another Falcon?
I think mainly like, I mean, it's pretty simple, but I feel like None crouch cancels more than like anybody. Like not like ASDI down, but like crouch canceling. So
that is
For crouch.
Hey, Clip, definitely send this to None. That's good stuff.
So I've been
Commander.
crouch canceling more, because like there's a difference between just holding down and like literally like going into the crouch,
Yes.
So that's probably the biggest thing.
So
I'd
you
say.
took crouch canceling from None.
Well, I mean, I crouch canceled a little bit before, but like I guess more intentional crouch canceling.
Oh man, I can't wait till we're doing more content. I'm gonna tell None about this. This is good stuff.
None knows this. I've talked to him about it.
I'm gonna tell him anyway.
You haven't heard what None says? He says, I'm not a down holder. I'm a down presser. Apparently
That's a good way to put it.
I've heard him call himself the Crouch Commander, so I can. I love that. I love that so much.
It's really funny. What were you gonna say, Wizzy?
I don't remember, but I was gonna say like it's probably because in his country they didn't shield or whatever, so like he had to find another way to like shield without shielding.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
so
really
sick.
cool. Like he kind of had an experience that no one else has,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of gave him an idea that anyone else would be like, "Oh, I'll just shield," He's like, "Oh, I don't have a shield, so I'll crouch cancel."
Yeah,
Nice.
that might be the explanation. That might be the explanation.
I think so.
We're
I
gonna
think that's
crack
it.
this case, man.
I think that's it.
That's good stuff. Well, I think we've explored the topic pretty thoroughly, Nels.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in. Do you have any shout outs for us today?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to first of all everyone here. You guys are great.
Thanks.
But I also want to give a shout out to New York and New Jersey Melee. Because I've been getting into it a lot more. It's my local scene, so I've been trying to go to everything under the sun in New York and New Jersey, and I've met a lot of really cool people. I roomed with the Swooper and JFlex at Mainstage, and JFlex went on a pretty good run.
Cool.
And yeah, I've been trying to improve, and I've also been trying to get these guys out to more majors because I feel like our region is so strong, but we don't travel. And so I want people to travel more so that we can get more experience on that big stage. And
Yeah.
look, I know how good we are. I want everybody to know how good we are, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
And I'm trying to work to be one of those names too. Still working on it though.
Good luck, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
take care.
Thank you. You know, Wizzy, it's funny on this topic of you being like more flowcharty
Yeah.
because you know it's funny. I've thought about this. You play pretty different characters, and you play pretty differently across all the different Smash games you play. Like I remember
Yeah.
I played your Wolf for a while
Yeah.
in Alt, and I mean, obviously I knew it was you because I was sitting next to you, but like I don't know that I would have been able to be like, oh, this is Wizzrobe if I just like played you and didn't know, like if I wasn't able to see
Yeah.
you physically.
Uh-huh.
You ever thought about it? Do you feel like you play differently in Melee or differently across different Smash games, or just a random thought I had?
It's an interesting thought. I'm not really sure how to answer it. The one thing I will say is similar. Like, I think I'm pretty patient in all the games. Like, it might not always show in Melee. I mean, it shows in the Hungry Box, that's for sure. But I definitely like patient in all the Smash games, I feel like. And that's something that also shows a lot in 64 because it's like pretty campy at the top level. And
Makes sense.
yeah, in Ultimate, you have to be like somewhat patient too, usually.
That definitely makes sense. Just with the
aside-
meta.
Yeah, and aside from that, I'm not sure. I mean, I still kind of have like a same idea where like I want to make the correct decision, trying to do the optimal choice or what makes sense. Always trying to get better, and yeah, I don't know. I tech chasing. I feel like some Ultimate players have noticed like I'll reaction tech chase to the tech rolls in Ultimate, and like they pointed that out. And then I also tech chase in 64 with like Yoshi's double jump cancel, and like go in the direction he's going to.
Oh, that's
And
sick.
so there's certain things you can like take from one game, put it to the other. Like I think another one was like I don't know what it was. I think I was like in Melee I'll do weak knee, and weak knee is good because like a lingering hitbox. And so I started doing more like lingering hitboxes in 64 Yoshi with like his nair because it just sits out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. That's what I would say.
That's that's really interesting. I've never really like noticed a similarity in the like. Seems like you pick pretty different characters in a lot of the different games, like you know Yoshi versus Falcon versus Wolf, right? But maybe there are some. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough. Maybe there's some similarities in playstyle that I haven't really. I mean, it's not like I watch a ton of Super Smash Bros. 64, but
yeah, it's those are just similarities I think of at least. There's definitely a lot of like different things, and like you know, like Falcon's a lot faster running speed than like Yoshi in 64 or Wolf in Ultimate. So like those certain options I have in Melee don't really have as I mean Yoshi doesn't even have like a grab in 64. He has a grab, but it's like Melee where, you know, it's a tether grab or whatever.
right.
So yeah, it's cool.
Toph, I've got a hard-hitting question for Wizzy.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right,
hard-hitting
Wizzy.
questions.
All right.
All right, Wizzy. This is a serious one, so you better prepare yourself.
All right. I'm trying.
Okay, you're doing great. And at the end, after grand finals were over, again, spoilers, of main stage last weekend, you won, you got up, and you turned around, and you began spinning a controller over your head.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that was so
this was
cool.
insane to me. I wasn't ready for this at all.
Oh.
I know that-
Your pop-offs hit different, sir. Let me say that.
Yeah, I know
And-
that people told me that.
Yeah. So so I have to know. I mean, we can ask about all of
Yeah.
them, but I want to know: was this one planned? Were
No.
you inspired? You were just inspired because
Like-
I'm surprised
Yeah.
because you had a deadpan expression, but you're swinging it, and so I thought you'd be like jumping or excited or something. So I'm just curious what you were thinking in that moment.
I don't know. So for some reason, whenever I do like a big pop off, like it's kind of like a spur of the moment thing, and also like it's always something like creative for some reason. I don't know
It
why.
is.
So like
Yeah.
when I pop off, it's just like creativity mode just turns on sometimes.
Cool.
So like I don't know what it is. It's not like the same pop off like 10 times in a row. It's like, oh, this time it's not intentional. It's just my brain just says to be creative during that moment. I don't know.
It was your
Wow.
proximity to Hungry Box. I think it just kind of came into you, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
A lot of the greatest Wizzy pop-offs have been against Hungry Box. There was that good one with Mango too
Yeah.
online,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
a lot of the really great ones have also been the H-Box ones. They're very, and yeah, they are kind of different every time.
Yeah,
They
I
are.
don't. That's,
They are.
I don't know
They're not
why.
predictable.
I'm not planning that or expecting that at all.
Uh-huh.
It's just the way it plays out, I guess.
Do you want to choreograph one like for the
No,
future? Do you think
I don't wanna
you could top
choreograph
what
one.
do you want to top what
Oh,
you've done already?
man.
Or do you think you've got a good thing going, you don't want to mess with it?
I got a good thing going. Although I can't think of what to do next, but maybe my brain will just magically come up with it next time I
Yeah.
win, though.
Yeah,
So
no.
we'll see.
Mhm.
I will be sure not to expect anything, and
Okay.
that way I can be prepared. Because if I expect
And then-
anything, I'll be wrong.
And then next time it'll be like the most generic pop off ever, and it'll
Maybe.
be nothing interesting.
I don't know if you're
Ah.
capable of nothing interesting pop-off wise, sir,
Yeah.
but maybe that would be the most surprising of all, perhaps.
All right. We'll
Oh
see.
man, yeah. But on that note, I just wanted to get to the hard-hitting journalism there at the end.
Sure.
But now maybe we need to ask you about the community voice.
Sure.
What would you like to ask the YouTube comments so that we can figure out we can find some truth on some various matters? And you can ask whatever you want. This is for the YouTube comments, the community. It can be serious, it can be funny, whatever.
I'm just asking the whole Melee community, basically.
The whole Melee
Yeah,
community.
yeah, whatever you want
That's
to
right.
know.
Mm.
We will talk about this next week with whoever we get on. So if you want to keep that in mind, you can keep that in mind. If not, also fine.
I'm trying to think of one. Let's see. I'll just ask, what do you enjoy seeing from me? Whether it be like I like seeing you win tournaments. I like just watching you play. I like seeing your stream, or I want you to do this. Just what do you like seeing from me?
What
Just
do people want to
I'm
know
just
about
curious.
Wizzy?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I like seeing all kinds of Wizzy stuff, but
Okay.
I can't wait to see, especially. I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised again. I mean, when I watched that Atriarch and Stan's podcast episode that you were on, I was like, dude, this is such a good episode.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it or something.
It was good. It was good. Yeah, you talked about some hard hitting stuff. It was pretty good. Shame they don't. I don't know if they've been doing that podcast lately. I think they just stream now. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always pleasantly surprised with all kinds of the Wizzy content I get.
Cool.
Yeah, I won't try to
A lot
lead
of
it
good
in any
tourney runs,
direction.
too.
I won't lead it in any direction, but I'm excited to see what the people have to say for sure.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, there it is. Thank you so much, Wizzy, for coming on. We really appreciate you taking your time, man.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you guys, and good to talk with PP for the first time in years. So
It's been a while, man. Good to talk
Yeah.
to you.
Sure it
It's
has.
good to talk to you.
Been good, man. Congrats again on the win. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Enjoy your rest tonight. I imagine the flight has been not too long ago, so sleep well, gamer. And thank you, Toph, for joining as always. And thank you, the people out there, for watching, calling in, everything else. This is Radio Melee, signing out.